Hey guys, so the big thing that came out last night is that Zack Snyder on Twitter, out of nowhere, released the first look of Jason Momoa as Aquaman for the DC Cinematic Universe. And I have to say, overall, the response to this image have been pretty damn positive, which is really surprising because you always expect, people to hate on something. And I have to say, overall, from what I'm seeing, looking around on the internet, I have to say, the majority of people find this look to be good. Like, they think Jason Momoa looks badass as Aquaman. But of course, there's the people over there who are not understanding the overall look, or they're kind of confused as to why he looks the way he does. So I decided to make this video as a way to explain his overall look, throw some speculation of my own as to why he looks the way he does, and then throw in some comic book references as well as to why he looks the way he does. So maybe people who are kind of like misunderstanding it or just don't like it can like turn around a little bit on it and be like, okay, I get why he looks the way he does. Now, the first thing you notice when you look at the image is the text on it, and it says Unite the Seven. Now, people are speculating as to what that means. I personally think it means only two things: unite the 7 Justice League members, and then unite the 7 seas, which is two things that relate to Aquaman. So I think that's all it means and nothing more than that. If it means anything else, I'll be surprised to learn what that is, but right now I only think it means those two things. Now, one of the biggest complaints that people seem to have with this overall look is that it's not classic Aquaman. Basically, the orange top with the green bottom and the nice clean-cut look with the blonde hair that's short. Like, people are expecting that look. And to me, I think about it, I'm like, they cast Jason Momoa. He's a 35-year-old man who, for the longest time, has been walking around with a beard and long hair. Like, did you really expect him to have this clean cut as Aquaman? Like, that's like one of those things that you like question why people were expecting that look. And then again, going back to his age being 35, he is not playing a young Aquaman. This is not Aquaman who just became the king of Atlantis or the king of the sea. And in reference to the comics, when you look at Aquaman from the 90s, he's that Aquaman. He's the Aquaman who's been Aquaman for many years. He has gone through a lot of things. He's not this clean-cut guy. This is a guy with a beard, long hair. He's gritty looking. He's even missing a hand. He has a hook. And I believe this is what we're going to get in the DC Cinematic Universe, is an older Aquaman. And we're probably not even going to get a younger Aquaman until probably the Aquaman movie, when we probably get an origin story of how Arthur Curry becomes Aquaman or becomes the king of Atlantis. That's probably when we're going to get the clean-cut Aquaman. And whenever I think of Aquaman and his responsibilities, I always think of Kingdom Come, where there's that one portion of the story where Wonder Woman and Superman go to Aquaman for help for what's taking place on land. And Aquaman basically breaks it down to them. He basically says, you guys have no idea of my responsibility down here in the ocean. I basically have to take care of 70% of the earth. That's what I see when I see Jason Momoa in this look. A man who has been through a lot, who doesn't have the time to groom himself and look pretty and nice just because he's the king of Atlantis, or because of this image that people have of classic Aquaman where he's clean cut, and it's like the unrealistic look of what Aquaman would look like. Now, the other complaint that people have is his hair color not being completely blonde. And I know a lot of people say this is a very important aspect to the story. The blonde hair is a very, telling thing when it comes to his character and his origin story. What that telling thing is, I'm not exactly sure, because my knowledge of Aquaman is not as grand as I would like it to be. But a lot of people say his blonde hair is very important to his origin story. And to those people, he has blonde in his hair, he has blonde in his beard. Who knows, maybe at one point he will have all blonde hair. We don't know. Complete all speculation, but I know a lot of people are, talking about how he doesn't have completely blonde hair because he needs to have that because it's important to his origin story. I don't know what that, origin story is and why it's important. Maybe somebody, in the comments can explain it to me. But personally, I see blonde streaks in his hair. I see blonde in his beard. To me, that's enough blonde. The other issue that people have is the color that he has on him, that he doesn't have the traditional Aquaman colors. He doesn't have the orange and green, which he actually really does. It's just the image has filters on it, so you can't really see the color on his suit. But if you take the image, put it in an editing program, and you just up the saturation on it, you're going to see the green and the orange in his suit. Trust me, I already done it. I'll show you a picture here. See? You see green and you see the orange. So yes, the suit does have color, just you can't see it because of the filters that were added to the image. The other thing that you can see on the suit outside from the color is you can also see the A for Aquaman. You actually see the symbol on his belt buckle. So they're staying true in that aspect when it comes to Aquaman and his, you know, original suit. They're keeping the A on his belt buckle as he normally has it. Now the biggest thing that there seems to be like an issue with, or a misunderstanding, or people not being able to wrap their brains around it, which I don't blame them, because at first I was like, wait a minute, that's kind of weird. Let me sit down and think about it. And that's basically his tattoos that he has all over his body. After having, you know, in-depth discussions with people online about the tattoos, I came to the conclusion that this could be something really cool in reference to other Atlantean origin stories. Now, there's two Atlanteans that I want to talk about who have tattoos. There's Aqualad, the new Aqualad from like Young Justice, and then there's Garth, who was like the first Aqualad. They both have tattoos. Now, Garth got his tattoo because something happened in a battle somewhere where he got a scar on his face, and the scar ended up becoming a tattoo, and now he has like a permanent tattoo on his face. And then there's Aqualad, the new Aqualad from Young Justice. He has tattoos all over his arms. So I'm thinking Jason Momoa's tattoos can be either because they're scars from battles, or they're a representation of him having the ability that Aqualad has, which to control water. Aqualad's powers, the new Aqualad, he has the ability to control water, and when he does that, his tattoos light up when he's controlling water. Aquaman doesn't really have that ability to control water, but there's a possibility that Zack Snyder is like, hey, let's give Aquaman this ability where he can control water just like Aqualad can. So I'm just speculating that either they're battle scars just like Garth's scar or tattoo on his face, or they're magical tattoos like they are for Aqualad in Young Justice and just in the comics in general, where whenever he uses his ability to control water or any of his, like, you know, magic, his tattoos light up. So I'm speculating it's either those two things or it's just battle paint. I don't know, but we won't find out until we see the movie or we see him in live action, then we get an understanding as to why he has those tattoos. But that's my speculations on the tattoos overall. So I think I basically broke down everything I could when it comes to this image of Jason Momoa as Aquaman, or Aquaman for the DC Cinematic Universe, as to why I think he looks the way he does, and the speculations that I have as to why he has the tattoos that he has and just his overall look. I'm curious to hear what you guys think of his overall look. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think about my explanation when it comes to his overall look? Do you agree with it? Do you have more questions in regards to it? Do you want to debunk what I said? Let me know in the comment section below. We can have a discussion about it. And that's basically my thoughts of Jason Momoa as Aquaman, or Aquaman for the DC Cinematic Universe, the Aquaman that we're going to be getting for the DC Cinematic Universe. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. McFarlane USA is directed by Nikki Caro. It stars Kevin Costner and a bunch of other very talented actors and actresses. Now, the premise of this movie follows the story of Jim White, who is played by Kevin Costner. He ends up getting fired from a very prestigious high school as a football coach. Due to him losing this job, he ends up having a very hard time finding another job as a coach, until he then finds a position in McFarlane USA, which is not